It's the ball.
He's better looking than that, isn't he? It's the best he's played for a while, I think, and maybe the lack of real bounce and pace in the pitch is really suiting him. He's a lot more confident to sort of, his footwork looks a bit more assured. But, yeah, he's seen the ball really well and it's hitting the middle of the bat a lot.
The guy at the other side of that is Rohit Sharma opening the batting. He's the captain of India. Hasn't won a World Cup. Can get them off to a flyer.
Well, he's hit 24 sixes, the most in the tournament to date. We're talking about David Warner's 6 hitting, but this man, you don't often think about him as a 6 hitter, but what he does at the top of the order, he sets the tone. He plays a captain's knock, and he plays a high-risk game. And if it comes off, it's great. That sets up the game. But if it doesn't, that's the opening Australia can get.
He just looks beautiful when he plays. I mean, he's not. I know you said he's hit 26 sixes, but he does it so effortlessly.
Well, they all look beautiful, the Indian players, because they're orthodox players. Well, I haven't seen a reverse sweep or a ramp or anything from India. They're all very, very technically correct and orthodox players, and they don't premeditate like a lot of one-day batsmen do. They just see it and go off their natural instincts.
That's a good point. The top 6 are all technicians, led, of course, by the king.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the king, I mean, we've seen how well he bats, but how do we get him out here? I mean, we've got some vision of planning, maybe bowling a little bit wider to Virat Kohli. Will the boys be talking about this, Hads?
Well, the one thing you do, exactly there, 4th or 5th stump, and try to get him to drive early in his innings. He likes to feel bat on ball, and that gets him going. But if he can get a little bit of movement, Hazelwood's had a lot of success.
He's the one, Hazelwood.
But Paddy Cummins also has in Test match cricket, so if the ball's not swinging for Stark, you can get Cummins on early, go that 4th, 5th stop, and get him driving through the covers.
Well, you look. Sorry, June. You look at the numbers when you have a look at Virat Kohli up against the quicks. You see, Cummins is averaging 166, Starkey 139, and then your man at the bottom there.
Yeah, 10, which is a huge difference, isn't it? He likes to feel the ball, Virat Kohli. He doesn't let the ball go much, and if you're batting like that against Josh Hazelwood, who gets that extra bounce, he hits the splice of the bat a lot, and he bowls such a great line and length. So that's his Achilles heel. He hasn't got many, but everyone's got a slight weakness.
You got to make him change his game.
Well, the enormity of the event could do that. If you lose a wicket early, you just wait. This crowd will be enormous, and sometimes he can get caught up in that at the start of his innings and go extra hard. If he's playing in his bubble, that's when you know you're in trouble. But at the start of his innings, you can let emotion get the better of him. 130,000, try to feel bat on ball, and that brings the slips into play.
Well, we should probably have a look at the pitch here because there was a lot of talk in the media. Are they going to show this one? Are they going to bowl on this one?
Wow.
This one, Junior.
Whoa.
Well, it's the one they played against Pakistan on.
Jeez, it looks like there's spike marks throughout the pitch. It doesn't look pristine, does it? It looks like a worn pitch. Look, I don't know. I mean, we're sitting here, but
average score 251 batting first.
That doesn't look like a pure batting pitch to me. It looks like it could turn and could slow up.
It's a World Cup final, I would expect not to be a blemish.
It should be like this, yeah.
It should be.
Do you play Ashwin now? You've seen that?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, you brought it up before saying that, look, the talk is he could play. I mean, I can't see that happening, sure.
Well, there's a couple of ways to look at it, I think. Kuldeep Yadav, he's outstanding. He's the X factor, but Maxwell has a great record against him. He's got hold of him a couple of times. Do they leave a batsman out and bring Ashwin in, or do they swap him for Kuldeep Yadav in one of those games?
Way.
But
if Kuldeep doesn't play, I'll give it away.
But Ashwin might play on that surface.
Kuldeep has got to play.
You would think so.
You think so?
If he doesn't, that's worse than your Sri Lankan selection.
Siraj might play.
Siraj is in the gun for Ashwin because they're worried about Siraj leaking lots of runs.
We have collapses in the middle order. I mean, Kuldeep is your man, as you say.
Look, he'll play for sure. Jadeja is the man, though. He's on this sort of pitch, which is just holding a fraction. He gets a natural variation, and he bowls so straight. So you've got to be careful sweeping. And you've got to pick Kuldeep. I mean, he's got a good variations, Kuldeep, but Jadeja's the man on this sort of surface, isn't he, Skull?
Yeah, he is. Steve Smith has a pretty good record against him. I know we saw a vision of him getting him out there, but if you look at Laurie Colliver and Brendan Woodbridge's stats, Smith does pretty well against Jadeja and Kuldeep. He's got to beat them in the middle if Australia are going to post a big number.
We talk about like Steve Smith being in the middle, Marnus being the spin in the middle. I think it's the top order. Well, if you get through that 10 overs, you're going to have to change your game a little bit to say, OK, let's take our medicine, maybe set batters, because Australia plays spin well when they're set. It's just making them start to spin.
Well, these are the numbers. Maharaj up there, 11 wickets there, averaging 17. Shamsi's got 10 wickets, Jadeja 9. And this is in 2023 via Australia, not just at this World Cup. And Yadav got 8 wickets there in 25. But I don't know. You got to play straight. And cross the line, you struggle.
And that's the key, guys. Marnus Labuschagne has two ways against left arm spin. He swats it or he reverse sweeps it. That's why there is an argument for Stoinis to come in late, because you know he's going to play straight against it. I mean, Marnus will play, but his method against spin, and that's why Kuldeep Yadav and Jadeja will feel confident against him, because they know that he's going to be reverse sweeping, and that swatting plays. If there's any purchase in the pitch, that swat is high risk.
Well, I think Josh Inglis, the way he played the other night, that's a good blueprint to play spin. If the pitch is a bit slow, you just sit back in the crease a bit and just play off the pitch. You know, play on the back foot, punch it there. You might get a short one. Every now and then you can use your feet. But I think sweeping everything, it's not a natural shot for us. We saw that in the test match in Delhi. You know, we're not good sweepers.
Terrible. I just worry about playing across the line and going back. You know, you talk about that short one, and they go back and across, and then it doesn't quite bounce where Maxwell.
You just got to watch it so carefully. You know, you got to play it late.
Well, you've got to play with the straight bat. Yes, you can use the crease. Yes, you go forward, and that's a big part of playing spin. But when you go back, you just got to play with the straight bat. Take your medicine, hit the deep end of the crease. Yes, you go forward, and that's a big part of playing spin. But when you go back, you just got to play with the straight bat. Take your medicine, hit the deep end of the crease. Yes, you go forward, and that's a big part of playing spin. When you go back, you just got to play with the straight bat. Take your medicine, hit the deep end of the crease. Yes, you go forward, and that's a big part of playing spin. When you go back, that's a good point. And they've only got 5 specialist bowlers. If one or two get in front, the striking back position, they've got to get one or two into the length square. They'll think about us because they'll think he may be less likely to get in front.
Semi-final, I know that. He's taken 22 wickets, the leggy. Big day for him.
Oh, huge. But he just got his length wrong. And against South Africa, they're his bogey team. They seem to have the wood on him. Against all other countries, he has a stunning record. He got his length wrong against the South Africans. But when he gets his length right and they play cross-bat shots against him, he's in the frame every ball.
But the reason he got his length wrong is they went after him early. No matter, remember the scoreboard was 4 for not many, but Miller decided to go straight away. Clarkson decided to go straight away, and that put him off his length. We've seen at times against India, Kohli especially, just sit on him to start. He brave with Zampa.
But the others won't. They won't.
He'll get to the other end.
Shubman Gill and Sharma will go at him.
Yeah.
Look, I know he's taken 22 wickets here, and I think he's coming into some wonderful form. But I'm with you, June. They're just going to take him off.
Well, the guys I just mentioned will. Kohli won't. He'll just knock him around the gaps. But guys like Shreyas Iyer, Shubman Gill, they're not afraid. They'll go long. It's fraught with danger a little bit, given the size of the outfields, but that's the way they play, those guys.
I suppose in the power play early on, if you want to bring on a spinner, would you go Maxwell or would you go Zampa? You're not going to go Zampa unless you've got the protection, right?
Well, if Kohli's in, you would. You'd bring him on straight away. If that's the reason they brought a spinner on is to contain or to get a wicket, you bring Zampa on. He's done it before, so...
The average is high against Zampa, nonetheless. Zampa's got him out a few times, Virat Kohli, but he still goes pretty well against him if you look at the numbers. I think Maxwell will play a big part. Although the first left-hander, Jadeja, comes in at 7. Maxwell is just bowling so straight at the moment. He gives them no width at all. So Maxwell 10 overs.
So well.
He's been the find of the tournament. He's hardly actually bowled a bad ball. His control of length and line and just the subtle changes of pace. His actual pace on these pitches is perfect because he's a bit round arm. He's quite quick through the air, so he's hard to get hold of.
I'll tell you what, we were lucky though, when we didn't even pick another spinner. We took Sean Abbott. It wasn't going to play, really. No. And we were lucky that he bowled well, Maxwell, because when Zance wasn't bowling at the start of the tournament, mate, we wouldn't be trouble, I reckon.
Well, he's improved his bowling a lot. He used to just be around the wicket into the pads. Now he's over the wicket. We've seen he uses the rougher a lot.
He's a smart bowler, actually.
Yeah,
I reckon he's a smarter bowler than batsman. Glenn Maxwell.
You're right.
I'm serious.
I
think
makes sense.
More in control. See when he's bowling and when he's batting.
Look, if Australia does win this World Cup, the
think tank that picked Travis Head injured and played a man short for the first half
of the tournament, didn't go with a second spinner and back Glenn Maxwell to come in and do the second spinner's role. So George Bailey, Dodemaid, Andrew McDonald, it'll be a standing O if Australia wins this World Cup final.
One more look at the pitch here, because I just don't think the average score here is 251. That pitch looks well worn. We just saw that. This is the one they played against Pakistan. Look, this might only be a 250, 260 game.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you got to get your head around. Win the toss, what do you do?
I bat first, but I think that suits us, a lower scoring game. I think if this was a flat pitch, you're bowling the way the Indians are batting, you're looking at 350 plus. I think this pitch, it brings the two teams closer together. We haven't seen how it's going to play, but on looks, it's not a pretty pitch.
Throughout this tournament, though, Pat Cummins at the tosses, I reckon he's happy to lose it.
Nerve-wracking drama and mind-boggling entertainment in this final showdown. Semi-final revenge. Check. 2003 final revenge. Loading. It has taken 20 years. But India are up against Australia in a World Cup final again. While Australia rolled with the punches and have taken time to grease their wheels. And now, the unstoppable force is all set to collide with the immovable object. The Indian top order is blitzing bowling attacks. Virat Kohli and Shreyas Iyer are dealing in hundreds. And skipper Rohit Sharma continues to go hell for leather at the top. Then there is Mohammad Shami, breathing fire with the ball. Try to find the weakness in this Indian unit. You just can't. Australia are not the strongest, but they are Australia. They always find a way. David Warner and Travis Head continue to crack the new ball, but that middle order will have to step it up. Their pacers finally woke up in the semis, but Adam Zampa needs to shake off the pacing he took from Dave Miller. Hardik Pandya's injury was bad news for India, and as it turns out, it was worse for oppositions. In came Mohammad Shami, who has spit venom at a serious pace. As if the four-fers and fifers weren't good enough, the Indian pacer snapped a stunning 7-wicket haul against New Zealand in the semis to register the best figures for an Indian in one-day internationals. Australia's best chance is to go toe-to-toe with India's marauding top order. And for that, David Warner needs to activate his Hulk mode. The Southpaw went past 500 runs in this campaign. And the men from Down Under will need their in-form batter to step up and face the heat from this menacing Indian pace attack. And the king is in on a record tumbling spree. Aside from the big 50th 100, Kohli became the first player ever to register 8 50-plus scores in a single World Cup campaign. From missing the first 4 matches to grabbing 3 5-wicket hauls in the next 6, Shami has entered cheat code territory, and his 4 5-wicket hauls are the most overall in World Cups. Mitchell Starc is snapping at his heels with 3 5-wicket hauls. So which pacer will make a mark on Sunday? And finally, Australia went 11 games unbeaten to win both the 2003 and 2007 editions. India are one win away from getting to that same invincible airspace. 7 finals, 5 wins. Australia don't skip a beat in a World Cup final. But Rohit Sharma's buzzing men in blue have headlined this World Cup party and will want to add a third ODI World Cup crown in Ahmedabad. So then, who's winning? Nope, we will not dare predict this one. But log on to Disney Plus Hotstar at 2 p.m. this Sunday to experience intense action, nerve-wracking drama, and mind-boggling entertainment in this final showdown. '19 semi-final revenge. Check. 2003 final revenge. Loading. It has taken 20 years. But India are up against Australia in a World Cup final again. But it's not 2003. This time, Team India's no mercy mode has bulldozed everything that has come in their way, while Australia rolled with the punches and have taken time to grease their wheels. And now, the unstoppable force is all set to collide with the immovable object. The Indian top order is blitzing bowling attacks. Virat Kohli and Shreyas Iyer are dealing in hundreds. And skipper Rohit Sharma continues to go hell for leather at the top. Then there is Mohammad Shami, breathing fire with the ball. Try to find a weakness in this Indian unit. You just can't. Australia are not at their strongest, but they are Australia. They always find a way. David Warner and Travis Head continue to crack the new ball, but that middle order will have to step it up. Their pacers finally woke up in the semis, but Adam Zampa needs to shake off the pacing he took from David Miller. Hardik Pandya's injury was bad news for India, and as it turns out, it was worse for oppositions. In came Mohammad Shami, who has spit venom at a serious pace. As if the fourers and fifers weren't good enough, the Indian pacer snapped a stunning 7-wicket haul against New Zealand in the semis to register the best figures for an Indian in one-day internationals.
Abby. Yes, this is amazing. Ah, sugar.